Xenoblade 3 Future Redeemed caps off the Klaus saga in the Xenoblade series, a story that began with a madman's delusion, forcibly sundering the world to cause two worlds to develop their own complex histories and developments. Heroes and villains would rise time and time again until the arrow of humanity's tail bent towards tomorrow ever still. One short step in front of the other until both worlds designed to dictate their own tomorrow, to no longer succumb to the rails planted in front of them by the gods, to walk into tomorrow with their heads held high, to create a better world together. That is the story of Xenoblade. And 3 gave them a chance to live together, even if only for a moment. But it wasn't meant to be, was it? A world balanced eternally on the head of a needle, teetering into the abyss, whereas the endless now tore itself apart under the weight of its own hubris and selfishness. For the morrow is never guaranteed, a happy ending never certain. But we don't walk on in the promise of one, or the comfort that may bring, do we now? We do it because it's what's right. Because that simple act of walking on is what makes us human. The hope that we may dictate our own lives, and that through our own will and perseverance, we may craft a tomorrow of our own design, one where our paths once divergent may reunite in joyful splendor. We may part for a time, sure, but we can continue picking up our own feet, through the hope that this parting may not need be forever. The past and present may have created who we are in the moment, but we can still choose to be who we want to be tomorrow, in the future. It's something we can always choose. Through the actions we select, for we have that free will, the ability to carve our own dirt road, and we can choose to forsake it, to seclude ourselves in temporary comforts, but it's a self-defeating cycle, where we end up losing ourselves, the life draining from our eyes, our purpose fading, while sacrificing others for our own selfish desires. Perhaps we desire to forsake that past in service of the future, to disregard all the other footfalls that are stumbling in their own ways, to find somewhere to go. We can do it, sure, but would we really be learning from the past in that way? Or would we just be blindly walking backwards without ever realizing it? The past serves to bestow lessons to us, so that we may learn and grow from those harsh points and gain hope from the incandescent glimmers of pride and joy that thread right alongside the dark. The present gives us the choice to stand still and refuse to grow, or to march ever onwards, for there is no finish line, no singular point to cross, where our journey will be complete. We merely fall down and rest, but in the comfort that we walked a path that may give strength and guidance to those who come next, so that we can allow others to pick up the torch and continue where we left off. That's the beauty of humanity at the end of the day, what it means to be human. We always have something greater to strive towards. We can always be better. We just need to keep on walking. Future Redeemed offered the final perspective of this vision. The willingness some may have to disregard the past and others to walk towards tomorrow unaware that they're just stranding themselves in a grand wilderness with no map, no landmarks to guide them, nothing to grow from. With its conclusion, the path is forged, the message crystallized, the story finalized. But is a story ever really over? There'll be more Xenoblade games in the future. Hell, they even said so. But the messages, themes, and stories told in these games will have grown out of these lessons. Future Redeemed is the ultimate Xenoblade love letter. Heck, it's the ultimate Xeno love letter. It finalized all those lessons and themes that Xenoblade had tried to tell up to now, but tied in all the previous attempts at telling those messages. Matthew, based off of the protagonist from Xenogears, Faye, while 3 acts, at least to my understanding, as a retelling of the plot points from Gears. Xenosaga is brought into the canon through the radio in Chapter 5, being from the company Vector, found in Saga, while also mentioning a character from the same series. X may be implied, through the mentioning of a grand exodus of colonial spaceships meant to find new homes across the universe. And sure, some substantial changes or revelations to the lore of X may be needed, but it could fit. And at the very least, it serves as a little nod to X. Future Redeemed ties in all those attempts Takahashi had at telling his story, ties them all together and puts a pin in them. For a story now over need not be forever. For when you open a door and close it behind you, a whole new path becomes available to walk, to discover. For what was once obstructed by that very door now serves as a mere footprint in your story, to uncover what lies beyond. The seeming re-emerging of the worlds in the post-credit scene may represent just that, alongside Noah disappearing at the end of 3, as one story ends, another begins. It's all a matter of perspective, for like life, the story's never really over, it's just chapters, isn't it? What the future may hold is an uncertainty. Much like the ending, it's vague and mysterious, and maybe we have an inkling, but at the end of it all, anything is possible. Maybe the world's interlinked. Maybe they properly merged. Maybe some outside force is at play to bring the worlds together just like how Klaus cleft them in twain. Or maybe after the events of Ionia's origin was fundamentally altered by Vex, Shulk, A, and the souls of Kevin and Agnes in the city. Perhaps that great yearning for unity brought them together again. Or maybe they all got wiped out when the worlds merged. It's a possibility, and I personally think that would be the weakest story to tell. Nevertheless, there are still stories to tell. Perhaps the worlds or people of these worlds may find each other again, through that boundless fog that separated them before. More struggles are to come, because, again, that's just life. But the way we tackle them will be fundamentally different. For we have learned from our past, and the lessons it gave us now serve as tools in our repertoire that we can utilize as we struggle endlessly marching to a new tomorrow, and we are all the better for it. It's funny, you know? The ending initially dissatisfied me. See, I like endings that give me a sense of finality, or a conclusion. Open-ended ones normally make me feel unrewarded for what I put in to achieve it, especially for long-term stories like Xenoblade. The more I think about it, the more I listen to Future Awaits, the more I wrote this script even. I just come back to the idea that maybe this wasn't the only way to tackle this ending. But dang it, it fits like a glove, don't it? Doesn't reveal too much, but informs the player, naturally, that one saga has reached its conclusion, and a new one shall begin. The story doesn't end, the show must go on. We don't know where it'll go from here. It'd be fun to theorize, sure, and I got my ideas. All in good time. Maybe we see the characters we know and love again. I mean, hell, they basically spelled that one out for us, with Vex's final talk to Glimmer and Nickel, and essentially the ending of Xenoblade 3 and Nia's Ascension quest. I still hold to that they're just keeping their cards close to the chest right now, waiting to show what they have in store for us. But for now, we march towards tomorrow with no guidance, or rails, but the mere push we receive from what came before, to know that we just need to keep on trying, so that right now, in this present eternal moment, we can choose to walk on, for the future awaits. That is my takeaway from Xenoblade as a series. From Xenoblade 1 all the way to Future Redeemed, and all that came in between. I think that's the takeaway. I think it's a pretty dang good takeaway as well. And the way it was told, well, I wouldn't have it any other way. So thank you all for tuning in, my pleasure making the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. Hit the bell icon to be notified for when I upload and stream in the future. For I have plenty of theories to come, and full analyses of every Xenoblade game, from start to finish, so we can find out what makes them tick, to peel beneath the layers, and see what lies beneath. All the little mechanisms and gears that keeps it running, flowing from one entry into the next. It'll be a big project, but we'll do it together. When that series comes around, I hope you all enjoy it. So thank you all for tuning in, my pleasure making the video. Stay safe, have a great day, go play some video games, and as always, I'll see you all next time. Bye bye, everybody.